Hey, Kerry Grinkmeyer here in Birmingham, Alabama with Best of U.S. Homes. Last week I did a video on the real estate bubble, and my summary was that it isn't going to happen for the next 3 years. Our economy is going to stay strong until our president does something totally ludicrous. But what I want to talk about today is the market slowdown. Some people call it a market shift. And I want to give you my understanding of why it's happened. For the most part, the market has been in two different parts of two different markets. You had the lower end, $500,000 or lower, that is a hot market. Young millennials, married couples are wanting to buy close-in homes that used to be the homes that their parents grew up in and then moved out into the suburbs and left deserted, and now they're actually moving into them. The problem is, though, because the supply has diminished, the price has gone up. And that basically prices a lot of people out of the market. The other issue is, as interest rates go up, and to give you some relevance of that, if interest rates go up 1%, you're going to see a $260 increase in the monthly payment. So these two factors, the price going up and the interest rates, are causing a bit of a shortage. To give you an idea of what that shortage represents, in my previous video I talked about the CaseShiller Index, and this yellow line represents the rise in the medium-priced home, and right there we hit the peak in 2008. If we come over here to 2018, you see we've surpassed that peak. In fact, we're 8% above it. So median homes are at an all-time high. And that's why the market has slowed down. The other thing that falls into this is that there are fewer homes. From 1985 to 2000, the number of building permits per 1,000 residents was 3.9. From 2008 through 2012, it dropped to 1.9. This resulted in 6 million homes that we don't have, that we should have had, and we'll never catch them back up. Well, why did that happen? Well, as the subprime crisis occurred, the builders recognized that we were going into a housing dump, and they liquidated their inventory and stopped building. So we're 5 years behind on our housing supply. And that's basically, or for the most part, in that lower price range. A home we have a neighborhood not far from us that is selling homes in the $250,000 to $285,000 range, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, very, very attractive homes on very small lots, and they're selling like popcorn on a Saturday at the movie theater because you can get into them at a reasonable price. But what a little discovery on my part found, that roughly 40% of them are going into the rental market because investors are seeing that this is, as interest rates go up, these houses are going to be even more attractive. And in many metropolitan areas, we've so priced people out of the market that teachers, firemen, and policemen can't own a home unless they already own one. But if they stay in their existing home, they're good. Problem is, if they want to sell it, then to go get something somewhere else is very, very difficult. So that's kind of where we're at on that. So how do we fix this issue? Well, first of all, through development, and that is to develop more raw land into housing communities. Now, we got a problem there, and it occurred under the Obama administration. We passed a bill to preserve wetlands. Now, what are wetlands? Well, wetlands are the land that when it rains hard, that's where the water goes and sets and soaks into the earth. we have evidence that that has been messed with. If you'll remember, about 2 months ago, there was a city in Maryland that had never flooded, and the whole downtown area got wiped out. Well, that was because there were more roofs, more blacktop, more that caused that water to run off, and many of those roofs over the preceding 15 years had been built in some of those wetlands. So price of land has gone up. Price of materials has gone up. Price of labor has gone up. So the lower income people are being priced out of the market. So in many metropolitan areas, the solution to this is to go up, to build 4 stories of housing rather than 1. And that will relieve it at some level. But the thing that warms my heart so much is that because of technology and because of transportation, some of the communities that are not so attractive right now, those country club communities that sit out 15, 20, 30, maybe in your community 40 miles outside, that are having difficulty selling, that are having difficulty as the baby boomers are trying to liquidate their homes to get any buyers, with the advent of autonomous cars, now the person who lives out there can have that commute in a car that's driving itself and can do some work or watch a movie or talk on the phone. So that stigma of being way out will go away as we move into the autonomous car situation. And so that warms my heart. The other thing that I want to tell the people who manage these large communities, 1,500 homes in a gated community, is you need to dedicate some of that land to a grocery store, to a Starbucks, to restaurants, so that the people within the community have a community. They have a place they can call their own. And the real trick to this, listen to this carefully, the real trick to this is community funded. That is to say, we're gonna build a public store here, and we're gonna open the investments up to the people who live in the community. Now, and we're going to do that with a Starbucks, and we're going to do it with restaurants. We're even going to do it with a movie theater, if you so choose. Think about that. You live in the community. You need to go to the grocery store. Which grocery store are you going to go to? The one you are part owner of and you share in the profits of, or the one that sits outside the gate about 3 miles away that you don't own a part of? That's what needs to happen. And so if you're a real estate agent, and please get this word out to these people, that community funding, and turn one of those golf courses into a shopping center. Now, be careful about taking out of the mix the wetlands, or you could have flooding. There's a lot goes into this, and a lot that needs to be addressed. The other thing, folks, the day of putting up a sign and an MLS listing, to my mind, is over. You need to use social media to sell homes. There are more homes. We're going into a strong buyer's market. So the real estate agent or the homeowner who's going to sell their house is the homeowner who builds awareness of the home. And today, to build awareness, you have to be on social media. If you're in the upper end, you need a strong presence not only on Facebook, but also on LinkedIn. People who live in $1 million homes are on LinkedIn. If that's a light bulb going off, you can put in the comments, thank you very much for the LinkedIn light bulb. You need to make a presence on LinkedIn, and if you'll watch some of my videos, it is easier to communicate with a person on LinkedIn 5 times easier than an email, and probably 5 times easier than on Facebook. But in the meantime, go to my Facebook page and like my page, if you would, please. And if you aren't blogging, and if you aren't doing videos, go to my webpage, bestofushomes.com, and go to my blog and get some ideas of things that maybe you can share with your community about the real estate market. And I'll guarantee you, if you'll do that, it will raise your exposure, your awareness in the community, and your business will improve as an agent. If you're a homeowner, as I said, you need to get an agent who's going to do more than put a sign in your front yard and create an MLS listing. You need an agent who's going to promote and market your home on social media. And you really do need an agent who's going to show up for every showing and not be a listing agent, but be a salesman. Isn't that really what you want? Isn't that why you put your house on the market? Because you wanted to get it sold? So hire a salesman. What an idea.